Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to School of Science. My name is Luke, and this is the Everton Stadium update for the 8th of the 12th, 2023, and this is a night edition. Now, I do apologise for not getting this one out during the day and potentially a little bit earlier, just because we've run into a few little speed bumps here and there, just with the weather being a little bit breezy and a little bit rainy over the past couple of days. But let's get into it, shall we? So, regarding the East Stand, there's a decent amount of work going on around the fan plaza, but unfortunately due to restricted times and poor weather, I was unable to get the drone up before it got dark, and I've tried to edit the video as best as I can, just to give you as much detail, but as you can tell, there's still a bit of it's still pretty dark, to put it nicely. There is one thing I have noticed, actually. When I look over these videos, I do like to actually look over the latest updates as well as the flyover of the render. And one thing I've noticed as of right now, you've probably noticed as well, it's that all the seats so far have been royal blue, and you haven't really seen any of the white seats that spell, you know, the likes of the Everton and the EFC on like the East Stand and South Stand respectively. I would myself assume that this is something that gets done when everything's pretty much completed, but I figured it'd be mentioned here just because it's something that people, as I've said, have probably noticed and are not really familiar as to why they've not put them in yet. Also, one thing as well I've just noticed now in the video, you've noticed that the cranes themselves have actually been brought down. So this is obviously due to the heavy winds and the rain and whatnot. So that is one thing they have to sort of take into account. But yeah, looking over the South Stand, as you can see, there are now seats getting put into place. You can see a couple of little sections of them here and there. So how they actually get put in, which is kind of interesting, has been brought to my attention. They don't get brought in seat by seat by seat. They're actually put in 5-meter length rails, and they all get put in at once. This is why when the last time we actually had some bad weather and everything, the seats were getting well, I wouldn't say ripped up, they were displaced. And it wasn't just like a seat here and there, it was actually literal chunks. This is why this happens, to be honest. But yeah, now as we look over the exterior of the South Stand, you can see that the roof itself is coming along rather nicely. So it's pretty much spanning right the way across now, the entirety of the main structure of the South Stand. Now this is still the first phase of the cladding, but it's moving across, as I said, at an amazing pace, and I won't be surprised when it's going to be probably more likely completed, if not the first stage, pretty much a good way through the second stage by the time the Christmas break kicks in. So that will be around the 22nd that'll probably take place. So the 22nd through to the early Jan, the construction workers will have a much needed rest. So during that lull period, I probably will be doing a 2023 review of progress over Bramley Moor and everything. So that's one to keep an eye out for in the future. But yeah, as we move on now, we're going to be moving on shortly to the West Stand. Just looking over the stadium of a night, it was actually a really nice experience to do. It's something rather unique, and it's one that you have to be a lot more careful about. So I was very careful to make sure that my drone itself was not anywhere near anything, and that there was no weather warnings or wind warnings going up whilst I was operating. But yeah, as we go over the West Stand at the moment, work has continued across the West Stand as they're powering through the bad weather to complete the stairway for the exterior, and they're also working on the players' tunnel, the home and the away dressing rooms as well. Now, the one thing I've actually noticed as well when I was looking over the videos, it actually brought back little memories of when I did the Goodison tour. So if anyone's ever done the Goodison tour, did you ever get to see the away dressing room? Because we did. I'm not sure whether this is something that you were allowed to actually see, but we got to see the away dressing room, and I'll be honest, it's no words of a lie. It reminded me of the dressing rooms we had in school. They were very basic. Like, you had basically just your typical ceramic floors, basic hard seats, as well as like a few little hangers here and there. And no words of a lie, the thinness of the ceilings is nothing more than a cruel joke to the away team. The stadium staff were actually walking above us, and you could hear every single footstep and muffled voices in that dressing room. So, if you are sitting in the main stand, I wholeheartedly ask you to stomp your feet and make as much noise as possible when it comes to half time if you are at Goodison today, because we definitely need that noise. Also, I do actually do a little pan here so you can actually see the West Stand going over and actually viewing the city from there. But yeah, as we go over the North Stand at the moment, it does appear to be pretty much about 90% of the way done when it comes to everything around the exterior of the stadium itself. Now, right now, I'm actually sort of panning over so we can see all the seats and everything in its completion, as well as taking note of the rather large screen that we've got hung over there. So that probably will be going into place soon for the South Stand as well. So one thing to note with this is it's very similar to the commercial style I'm sorry, I'm having a brain blank here for a second. So if you've ever if you've ever been around the city and anything, you've probably seen the massive billboards and everything that are of screens. These are very much of the same sort of design. So they are not like just one big massive screen. They are very, very small, probably like 1 foot by 1 foot panels that have to get put into place and programmed to a screen. This is why if you've ever seen the billboards, you'll probably notice like little clumps of it of a weird, like where dead pixels have been, they've replaced them. They're very strange looking little things. But yeah, I digress. Looking over the North Stand at the moment, as I said, you can see it's pretty much 90% done. There are just small little details here and there that need finishing off before it is well and truly done. Dusted and resources can get moved inside of the stadium to finish off in there. But you're probably wondering what these little details are. The main things being like, so of your, you know, like the black paneling that you can see, like the black metal divides that are between the brick facades, as well as the glass on the back ends of the stadium itself. If you have a look, you can actually see like little where all the corners and everything are of the back wall of the stadium itself. It's missing like the glass there, so those are going to have to be precision done and everything, and they're going to get put in at a later date. But overall, like your facading's pretty much done when it comes to around the stadium, as well as the black metal dividers, as well as most of the stuff right now. It's basically the roof, the inside, the seats, the pitch. Also, one thing to note, you can actually see it in a little piece of the video. I do try and actually point it out. You can see a little bit of the center circle, and it's also on my Twitter as well. I did get a photo of it, so that is one for you guys to look out for. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate you guys watching it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the week. Take care, up the fucking toffees, and peace.